Hi, I'm Rick Prelinger. I'm founder of the Prelinger Archives, which is a collection of historical film which used to be in New York and is now in San Francisco. It's a substantial collection. It was at the time that the physical materials went to the Library of Congress in about 0203, it was 60,000 titles, and it's more now. We had a kind of an interesting experience towards the end of our first 20 years of selling stock footage. We've always survived by selling stock footage commercially, and we've been pretty careful about trying to keep control of what we have, especially because a lot of it is public domain. However, in 2000, we entered into a partnership with the Internet Archive, kind of as an experiment. We put a great deal of our material online for free. This was the same material that we sold through Getty Images, our rep. And after a little while, we found that, quite to our surprise, our revenue actually doubled. So that the same material that we were giving away for free was also selling at a much higher rate as a result of our putting stuff online. This may sound completely counterintuitive to a lot of people, but what it turns out is that when we give away footage for free online, we give it away without any research help. It's totally do-it-yourself. You have to convert it if you're going to reuse it, and it takes a little bit of effort. And most important, we don't give a written license agreement. And if you're doing a commercial TV show, if you're doing something in Hollywood, if you're doing advertising, you're doing cable, documentary, typically the distributor is always going to demand a written license agreement with the reps, the warranties, the indemnifications, and that's because productions are insured and the insurance company wants a paper trail. So we give the footage away for free. We charge for the paper trail. We give away the cheap online surrogates that are a little lower quality. We charge for the good, high-quality digital video masters. So we became very, very friendly to this online thing, and we've had an extremely positive experience making a lot of our material available online. The visibility can't be beat. And as a result of finding that the internet was our friend rather than our enemy, we ended up getting involved in the Orphan Works issue. One of the things that's great about the United States when it comes to producing and distributing culture is that we have a great deal in the public domain. You know, our Constitution granted authors, creators, and inventors the exclusive rights to their work for a limited time. And although copyright terms have been extended and extended and extended in recent years, largely due to lobbying by big media companies such as Walt Disney, there still is a tremendous amount in the public domain. So we were able to do a lot with work that nobody owned anymore. But the next great problem is that there's a lot of work, creative works in all media that were made for specific purposes at specific times and no longer have any real commercial value. They may have incidental commercial value, but nobody's going to get rich by exploiting them. And they're still under copyright because now copyright terms go on and on and on. And the question is there a way that somebody can make bona fide use of those works where they can't locate the copyright holder after an honest and diligent search? Is there a way that people can make use of those works such that if the copyright holder comes forward, they get fair compensation, and so that the person who uses that work in good faith after a diligent search for the copyright owner doesn't get nailed? And that's what the Orphan Works Bill is trying to address as it's presently conceived. And I should say that it was drafted after 2 years of hearings and incredible sort of public and private consultation between people in Congress, between the Copyright Office, and between people representing, the Authors Guild, the Graphic Artists Guild, the American Society of Professional Photographers, and so on. So the idea behind this Orphan Works Act as drafted is that it sets up a definition of what a diligent search is. So if I want to use something that's under copyright and I cannot locate the copyright owner, it's specifies the degree to which I have to dig deep and try to research that copyright owner. So I have to look through industry sources, I have to check databases, I've got to go back to last known address, I might have to go to the the Secretary of State and see if there's an incorporation notice, things like this. It's not just doing a Google search and turning up nothing and then using the work. So it sets a standard for due diligence to find the owner of a work. And then the other half of that is that if I make that good faith search and I can document that I've made that good faith search and the copyright holder comes to me and says, hey, this is mine, I own it, then I say, okay, fine, I'm going to compensate you. And what the Draft Act says is that I'm going to owe the copyright holder fair and reasonable compensation compared to what I would owe him or her in any case. So it means that they're going to get compensated at an industry standard rate. And third, it means that if I do a due diligence search, if I compensate the copyright holder, that I'm not going to get sued. I'm not going to get an injunction out against my work. So it's an attempt to be fair and to equalize the balance. There's some other clauses that are kind of technical, but it seems to me that it's a way to bring visibility to a lot of work that's kind of lost in the shuffle, because we're such a media-rich society. We discard more media than most countries ever produce. It's a way to bring visibility to work that might be meritorious and needs to be seen again. And it's a way to provide for compensation so that users of these orphan works aren't simply stealing. They're not stealing. They're not getting a free ride. They're liable to pay if a copyright holder comes forward. And one of the neat things about this suggested act as drafted is that it encourages industry groups to set up registries so that, for example, photographers, film and video makers, illustrators, textile designers whose work isn't always attributed can set up a registry that can be searched. So if I'm looking to use a photograph or if I'm looking to use a piece of video footage, I can search for a description of it that may lead to the maker. So it's an attempt to make it easier for people to control their work during the term of copyright. And there's going to be a lot of discussion about technicalities, but we like this law because it gives people freedom to quote, freedom to access lost history, freedom to work with it, and it also protects the rights of the people who made that work, often at great expense and difficulty. They can get money out of it, and these registries are going to be set up so that work isn't lost in obscurity.